Good afternoon, students. Today we are going to learn state syllabus, standard 9th, subject science and technology, topic number 8, useful and harmful microorganisms. First we will see what are microorganisms. Microorganisms are living things. Those are very minute. We cannot see this living thing with our naked eyes. For observing these microorganisms, we have to use microscope. By using microscope, we can see this living thing clearly and properly. These microorganisms are omnipresent, means they are present everywhere. Where are they present? They are present in soil, in water, in air, on the body, within the body, everywhere. They are present everywhere, that's why those are called as omnipresent. There are mainly two types of microorganisms depending upon availability of oxygen or use of oxygen. Some microorganisms use oxygen for their respiration, they are called as aerobic organisms. And some microorganisms, those who don't use oxygen for their respiration, those are called as anaerobic microorganisms. There are certain another types of microorganisms. For example, algae, fungi, protozoa, yeast, bacteria and viruses. These all are the types of microorganisms. Some microorganisms are useful to other living organisms. But some microorganisms create disease to other microorganisms. The disease producing microorganisms are also called as pathogens or germs. The first useful bacteria, that is lactobacilli. Where they are present? They are present in yogurt, buttermilk, etc. How we can see this lactobacilli in our school? Take a fresh drop of buttermilk on a glass slide. Stain with it a methylene blue, cover it with a cover slip and observe under compound microscope of objective power 10x and 60x. These are, you can see the rod shaped bluish colored bacteria, those are lactobacilli. Lactobacilli are present in yogurt and buttermilk. We can see these rod-shaped bacteria by using compound microscope in our school. So, what happens actually in the curdling of milk? When we add a drop of curd in a milk, in a warm milk, there is a fermentation process goes on. The lactose sugar present in milk coagulates and the pH of milk reduces. The pH of milk reduces and the lactose sugar will convert into lactic acid by the help of this lactobacilli bacteria. This acidity increases the taste or gives some taste to that curd, and also by this fermentation process the other microbes present in milk diminishes or destroys. This is the use of that lactobacilli bacteria which makes curd from the milk. The other uses of the lactobacilli are we can make the curd, from the curd the different milk products like cheese, paneer, butter, ghee, etc. Lactobacilli can use in fermentation process of wine and other cokes, etc. Lactobacilli bacteria used in a medicine which are used in a stomach discomfort. Stomach discomfort medicines, when prepared, these lactobacilli are used. Lactobacilli are also used in a lavender fodder of cattle. These are some uses of lactobacilli. That's why this is one of the most useful bacteria we can see in a curd and yogurt. So we should eat this curd and yogurt in our food in our diet, the next useful bacteria is Rhizobium. Rhizobium is a symbiotic bacteria present in root nodules of leguminous plants, fenugreek leaves, peas, etc. They fix the atmospheric nitrogen into nitrates, nitrites and amino acids. They give nitrogen to the plants. By the exchange of these, they get energy from the plants in the form of carbohydrate. They get energy in the form of carbohydrate from the plants. This is a symbiosis or symbiotic life. These bacteria, how we can see these bacteria in our school laboratory? We can see these bacteria in our school laboratory by taking these nodules or fenugreek leaves, or you can use the groundnut roots. There are certain nodules. Keep these roots in a hydrogen peroxide for some time to sterile these roots. After that, remove and keep in a ethyl alcohol for 2 to 3 minutes. After that, take a thin section of these root nodules and thin section keep on a glass slide. Stain with a safranin dye. Use a dye that is a safranin. Cover it with a cover slip. You will observe pinkish rod-shaped bacteria called as a Rhizobium. We can see under compound microscope these bacteria very clearly by using such pea plant and fenugreek leaves. On these roots, these bacteria are present. These are very useful bacteria. How they can use for farmers? If we, at the time of harvesting, if we dump these roots in a farm or in a soil, they increase the nitrogenous content in the soil and also decreases the adverse effect of chemical fertilizer in the soil. In this way, the Rhizobium bacteria is very useful to increase the fertility of the soil. It gives nitrogen to the plants in a large amount. That's why Rhizobium is one of the useful bacteria. Another useful microbes is yeast. Bring a dry yeast from a market. Add a spoon of this dry yeast in a bottle containing lukewarm water and add a spoonful of sugar and spoonful of dry yeast in this bottle. This bottle contains a lukewarm water. Add a spoonful of dry yeast and a spoonful of sugar. Fit a balloon on the mouth of this bottle. Shake well. After some time, there is a fermentation process produces a gas. Because of this production of gas, the balloon will blows because of gas. There is a fermentation process. For observing this yeast, what we have to do? Take a drop of this bottle solution. We have taken in a bottle solution. This drop on a glass slide, cover it with a cover slip and observe under a microscope. You will observe colorless oval-shaped organisms called as a yeast. You will observe certain buds on these oval-shaped microorganisms. Those buds are because of their asexual mode of reproduction of yeast cells. Yeast perform asexual mode of reproduction called as budding, and these buds we can observe under microscope very clearly. Where the yeast is used? Yeast is used in a bread and in a bread industry because for the process of fermentation. If we add this yeast or this bottle solution in a wheat flour and we can In an oven, if we burn this butter and bread, this butter and bread will be spongy and have some nice taste. Use of microbes is antibiotics. What are antibiotics? Antibiotics are the carbon compounds obtained from some fungi and some bacteria. These carbon compounds obtained from this fungi and some bacteria are useful to kill or to stop the growth of other harmful microorganisms. Is called as antibiotics. In 19th century, these antibiotics brought some revolutionary change in medicine field. These antibiotics are used to kill a lot of harmful microorganisms called as broad spectrum antibiotics. Especially these antibiotics kill or used to kill some bacteria and some protozoa species. These broad spectrum antibiotics are amoxicillin, ampicillin and tetracycline. Some antibiotics are particularly kill especially some harmful microorganisms. Those are called as narrow spectrum antibiotics. Example, penicillin, gentamicin. These are some antibiotics. We will study one antibiotic, that is penicillin. Penicillin is discovered by Dr. Alexander Fleming. Penicillin antibiotic brings or we can obtain from a fungi called as a Penicillium. This discovery is made by Alexander Fleming. We can treat by using this penicillin against some diseases like produced by this Staphylococcus, Clostridium bacteria, which infected our nose, throat, skin. The infections are produced. Now we will see some harmful microorganisms. We can see some spores which produce some fungi. These spores fall on some homemade articles, for example, leather, gunny bags and wooden articles. These spores germinate there, use the carbony material for their reproduction and grow there. At the result of their growth and reproduction, these wooden articles, leather articles and gunny bags will wear and they destroys. They will weak, they become weak because of this growth of fungi. These hyphae will grow there and they make these articles weak and they become wear. After that, you will see some on chutneys, on muramba and jams, some fungus you can see in your home. These funguses absorb nutrients from this food material and produce some toxins in this food material. That's why this is harmful to us. They grow there in some muramba, chutneys and lonche, something. This fungus is harmful to us because they absorb nutrients from that and they grow there and produce some toxins. After that, one more harmful bacteria is Clostridium. Clostridium is present or grow in a ready-made or cooked food. In a cooked food, after boiling, after some time they reproduce Clostridium, and if we eat this smelled or cooked food, or this food will make us nausea, vomiting, stomach ache. That's why Clostridium is a very harmful bacteria present in our food. Microorganisms are viruses. All viruses produce disease. Viruses are very minute than bacteria. All viruses produce disease, and because they live and grow in other living organisms, they require other living organisms for their growth and their reproduction. That's why they produce disease. Some viruses you may learn, for example, HIV virus that produce AIDS, influenza virus it produce flu. You may heard about viruses which produces measles. Some viruses produces swine flu, bird flu, and dengue, and now the COVID-19. That virus produced corona. So these all viruses are very harmful, and they are, because they produce disease and they are minute, so much minute from all these microorganisms grow.